Hello guys, welcome back yet again. Today we're going to take a look at percent increase. So we have a little vocab. The percent increase simply refers to how much an original price has been raised. And sometimes we call that original price the cost because it's how much you paid for it, or we'll call it the wholesale price. And these are some terms that will come back in a couple of lessons when we talk about markup and discount, because it's the same idea as percent increase, and in the next video we'll look at percent decrease. So it's really important to understand the vocabulary because I'll be using that sometimes, and if you don't know what I mean when I say percent increase or I say wholesale or something like that, it could get confusing. So make sure you really learn your terms here. Profit is another one we'll use. Profit simply refers to the money gained when you sell something above the wholesale price or above the cost to you, the original price. And then your selling price, that's the amount that the item sold for. So that would mean after we calculate your percent increase or your profit, you would add that to your wholesale price to get your selling price, because you want to make back your money, plus you want to make some extra money on it. Okay? And again, we're going to solve this using a proportion, and there's one more word that I didn't have written here that's also interchangeable, and that is profit. So on the top, sometimes we'll just call this the increase. It's the difference in the two prices, or we call it change in price, the profit. Any of those words will work. We always put that on top of our original cost, or our sometimes called our wholesale price. That always goes on the bottom. And then over here it would be our percent increase, and of course our percentages always go over 100 if we have a percent. All right, so this is the proportion we're going to use, and we'll take a look at some examples here. So here we have a word problem. The 7th grade class had a total value of $190 in their class fund last year. This year they have a total of $630. What was the percent increase between the 2 years? So again, just to remind you, the amount of the increase goes on the top, which means how am I going to figure out how much it was increased? And this is where we run into problems. A lot of kids want to take one of the two numbers they're given to put on top, because that's what we've been doing. This is different. I want the amount they increased. So what is the difference between 630, 190? So we're going to subtract those two values to tell me how much the price went up, okay? And when we do that, I find out it went up $440. We're putting that over our original amount. Well, I said originally last year they had the 190. So that's the number that goes on the bottom. So you want to look at what was the original number. That goes on the bottom. We're solving for the percent, so we don't know what that is. That's why I made it an X. And that the percent always goes over 100. So then we do our cross multiplication, and this is actually a rather large percent, over 100%, 231.6% increase. All right, now we're going to have some examples on the next one that we'll go over as well, but make sure you get that one down. All right, so here we're actually going to be solving for a few different things, which is why we want to use our proportion, because then no matter what's missing, we can still use it to solve for what it is. So here it's the percentage I'm missing. I want to calculate the percent change from 12, meaning 12 is my original number, so that goes on the bottom, to 15. So what's the difference between those? 15 minus 12 gives me my change, which is 3. So the 3 is what goes over 12. I don't know what my percentage is. That's an X. My percent always goes over 100. Okay? So again, we're going to cross multiply and then solve our equation. And I'm going to borrow my handy-dandy calculator just to save us some time. 12 goes into that 25 times, so that is a 25% increase. It went up 25%. All right, again here, we're going from 0.3 to 0.66, so that means it's my percent I'm missing. So it's the number over 100 I'm solving for. My original one is the one that comes first. So 0.3 goes on the bottom, and then I need to figure out the difference between those two numbers. So that means all I'm doing is subtracting. And I'm going to use my calculator, but I'll show you. So we need to subtract our two numbers to find the difference or how much it went up. So 6 minus 0 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. Line up my decimals. 0.36 over my original, which is 3. Okay. So again, we're going to cross multiply. And when we do our division, I wind up with 12. No, sorry. I didn't move a decimal. I wind up with, yes, 120%, which makes sense because if you look, this number is bigger than this. So that would make sense that it went up more than 100%. All right, our number more than doubled. All right, here we have the problem set up a little bit differently. It's giving me my wholesale or my original cost. Well, remember, wholesale or original cost always goes on the bottom. And the percent always goes over 100. It's telling me my percent increase, which means I'm trying to solve for my profit, okay? Profit or percent increase, those words are basically interchangeable. So I want to find out how much money I can make off of this if I raise the price 25%, okay? So from here, again, we're just going to cross multiply. I'm going to use my handy-dandy calculator to help me out. When I solve, and you'll remember on this side we're dealing with money. Try to write the numbers a little neater, sorry. So if I buy something for $48.60 and I want to make 25% profit, that means I need to raise the cost $12.15. Or if I made 25% profit, that would mean I made $12.15. Right? So we're setting this one up the same way. Wholesale always goes on the bottom. My percentage always goes over 100. So it's the increase that I'm solving for. Okay? And this is what I do. As I go, I just read it. I look for what information is missing. I fill it in as I go. 124 times 6.5 gives me 775. So when I solve for x, I get $7.75 would be the percent increase or the profit that you would make. Okay? The last one is a word problem, and we want to look for what it's asking, because this is going to be a multi-step problem, I can tell you that now. An antique car dealer made a profit of 18%. You know what? I'm going to fill this in right now. My percent always goes over 100, so I know what goes there. On a car he bought, so that would be his original price, for $40,000. So that goes on the bottom. He originally paid $40,000 for it. But look at this. It says, how much did he sell the car for? This is going to tell me how much money he made, not what he sold the car for. So after we figure out how much money he can make in profit, we're then going to have to add that to the original price to get our selling price. But let's just do it one step at a time. So let's start by solving for his profit. And we find out that he makes a $7,200 profit. Okay? That's his profit. It wants to know how much did he sell the car for. Well, that means he needs to make back his original money plus his markup money, or his percentage increase. And when we add those two together, we find that the actual price he then sold it for was $47,200. Because see, first he has to make back the money he spent, then he can make a profit. All right. So that one's just a couple steps. You need to really pay attention to what it is I'm asking you to solve for, because that'll make a difference as to how you go about solving it and the steps you need to take. Again, if you're confused, go back, rewatch the videos. You can always rewatch any of the older videos to help you with the concepts. Ask your questions in the comments spot. You can email me, or you can ask in class. Have a great night, guys.